2, 1, 2, 3. Na 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 na. All I hear is blah blah, say blah blah. We want something more than the.
All right, you guys, I'm super excited about this episode. I'm about to go in and interview Rod Ryan. I've known this guy for years, but he is a super cool DJ. He's ranked top in the nation. This is iHeart Radio, 94.5 The Buzz. This is the Rod Ryan Show. You guys make sure and tune in to the whole episode. I'm gonna show you a really cool house, so stay tuned. First of all, I want y'all to know that I'm with like one of the best DJs in the nation. If you've not heard of Rod Ryan, I'm surprised because here in Houston, Texas, everyone knows who Rod Ryan is. So I'm Tricia Turner. We are at 94.5 The Buzz, iHeart Radio. We are with Rod Ryan. Rod, thank you for doing this today.
Thank you, and that's a hell of an introduction. Wow, thank you very much.
You guys, you know, there's so much talk about like radio is not relevant, radio is not important, people don't listen to the radio. In Houston and beyond, people listen to the radio, and not just the radio, they tune into the Rod Ryan Show. So I'm like super curious because Rod has like a cult following. Rod has been in radio for how long?
30 years?
Serious?
Yeah, 30 years, I think. I mean, if you go back to, you know, interning, you know, and hanging out at the radio station and just, you know, back in the day, you would get internships and then you just never would leave.
Okay.
And then my internship led to me hanging out and then part-time work and then slowly just grinding them down that they had to finally end up hiring me there.
So back then, okay, so 30 years ago, you guys, what brought you from New York to Houston, Texas?
So starting in Buffalo, I go to New Orleans.
Okay.
That's fun, right? And I'm young, and that's very blurry. And I did 4 years in New Orleans doing afternoons.
Okay.
And then I ended up doing 4 years in New Orleans doing mornings. And that was my first morning show. Then I got the call, and I knew some people here in Houston. And then in 2004, made the move here to do the morning show. And it's kind of a crazy thing that I've been here that long.
94.5 The Buzz, that's Theory of a Dead Man and Medicaid. Good morning, Rod Ryan Show.
So in Houston, like a million years ago, there was 97 Rock, there was 101 KOL, and those were huge. And when they disappeared, it was like, who is going to be cool on the radio now? And emerged Rod Ryan. I just like, it was different, and the music was different, the whole show was different, and he dominates. Like people, like when Moby was on 97 Rock and 101, they were there like on the radio, they had a presence, but they didn't have like a following. Like people will bow down and do whatever Rod says.
I don't know about that.
They do.
I don't know about that, but
They do.
But I love how well versed you are in all of this stuff. Does your audience know? And here, I'm going to turn this around and interview you.
Do it.
Does your audience know like what a rocker you are? Do they know about your background?
They don't.
She's a rocker. She knows her stuff. Let me tell you, I would see her at clubs, and she is a rocker. I know your brother,
Yep.
you know, and he's going to be playing in the Throwback Thursday. The Ons are going to be performing.
Y'all will see him tonight.
And you know, and I met your brother with the hair and everything, and so that's how I ended up meeting you. And her brother is rock star here in Houston.
Yep.
And it was love at first sight when we met, and then that's how we, you know, I knew your mom.
Yes.
I used to hang out at the bar with them, and that's how I ended up meeting you. But I mean, Tricia knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. I mean, that history of radio, that comes from your love of rock, though. I've got you down, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me, I'm sure people have got to know, like, how do you come with such a following like that? What is it that draws people to you?
Oh man, that didn't happen. Like that didn't happen overnight.
Couldn't have.
No, I never bag on the guys that did mornings before me. You know, people had to lose their job for me to get here.
Absolutely.
So that always sucks in the industry.
Yeah.
So the morning show on The Buzz did not sound like me. It just was different.
Yep.
It was just not as opinionated, not as brash, not as loud, not as fast.
Told me that the most talented guy in the Rat Pack you didn't know. See, now he's getting like, hey, this is my day here, and I don't want to see this going the wrong way.
Right.
That didn't rub everybody the right way right out of the gate. I didn't ease my way into it, and I'm just like, oh gee, golly gee, I hope you guys like me. It was more of, okay, we're gonna walk in and we're gonna hit you over the head, and let's see who sticks around. So we really kind of shook it up. I sounded a lot different. I don't sound like I'm from Texas. Texans love Texans.
Yep.
And I think those guys were from here, and I just sounded different.
He has like no filter, y'all. And so if you don't know, like even when he first started, I remember when he first started, and you were right, people were like, holy crap, did you hear this new guy on 94.5? Is this, what do you think? Do you think he's gonna make it? Do you think he's gonna last?
The answer was no. The answer was no. Okay? I mean, that's another reason why it's amazing that I'm still here, because that first year was so rocky.
Oh yeah.
And radio was going through a big transitional phase as well.
Yep.
Lots of things happened in that first year that I was here, and radio went through some big changes right away. So people had to kind of pivot and move and change the way that they did things. And we rolled with all of these changes, and somehow we made it work. Mm-hmm. And I had to really convince people that, listen, believe in the process. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about the people here at iHeart. Right. I go, you got to stick with this.
Yeah.
I mean, of course I don't want you to fire me, but you don't fire me.
Right.
It's going to work.
Yeah.
I'm getting 200 to 300 emails a day. Go home.
Oh, wow.
Get out of here, you know. And some of these are the same people that they will admit, Rod, I'm one of those guys that sent you one of those emails, and I'm glad I was wrong. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciate that. Nobody likes to say that they're wrong.
Yeah. That had to have hurt, though.
There are some people. There are some people that listen now that will admit I wasn't a believer, but now I am. And again, it was a rocky, rough road coming here. And it's just not for the thin skin.
No, it's not.
But nothing is, though.
But you persevered, and it's like it didn't change you at all. You've just continued to mold, and every year he's bigger and better, and he's a celebrity, y'all. I'm not kidding. Like when Rod goes somewhere, if you say you're with Rod Ryan, they're like, oh, bow down. It's like, it's whatever he says, and it's so cool. Okay, so as radio has evolved, were you threatened at all by that? Were you worried as people were like, oh, we're not listening to radio anymore?
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many changes with everything. And even before COVID,
right,
there were just, the radio industry is always evolving. And you had mentioned something off the beginning, like, some people will say, well, do people still listen to the radio?
Yep.
When we were young and there was a radio in the kitchen and you turned it on and everybody was listening to the radio, there's not so much that anymore. That changed with Walkmans and headphones and everything else. But your phone is a radio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hard thing to kind of convince people. Your phone is a radio. The website, that's radio.
Yep.
Blog pages is radio.
Yep.
Social media, your Instagram account, your Facebook account, that's radio. Mm-hmm. That stuff's all in your phone, that's radio, and that's with you every day.
Yep.
Now, I do mornings, and a large part of our audience is in the car, still listening to that old school radio, and I love it.
They are.
Okay, and we've got people that have downloaded the iHeart Radio app, and they take us with them wherever they go. It's amazing to get somebody on vacation. Mm-hmm. Here's me at the Grand Canyon listening this morning, and it's awesome. They're sending us a picture, yet they're still listening to the radio, but it's their phone.
Yep.
That's radio.
Yeah. And for you to maintain, like he's in the top, I think you're number 4 in the nation, is that correct? Or maybe even 2 in some spots.
Listen, you can slice a pie, you can find numbers that make you look good.
Sure.
But we do very well.
With him, they're super real with him. So the pressure's on, like for you to maintain that.
You've got the ratings that you got to deal with here in Houston. So we generate the most web traffic of anybody in our company. We have 800 radio stations, and we've got, I don't want to punch him in the face, but Ryan Seacrest, we got big guys,
Yes.
We got Ryan Seacrest, Bobby Bones, we got guys in New York and LA. I use the hashtag best listeners in the world. I use it all the time, and it's not something that I ever take for granted. It really, I mean it when I say it. Every single time when I say hashtag best listeners in the world, with all the charity events and everything that they do, it's unbelievable how they show up.
You know why? Because they trust you and they believe in you. When you tell your listeners to do something, I'm amazed by the things that you tell them to do, and then they do. And for you guys that haven't heard of The Rod Ryan Show, y'all need to check it out on iHeartRadio because you're definitely going to like what you hear. Thank you so much for doing this today, Rod.
Oh, it was great. It was fun. I'm used to being in that chair.
Yeah.
So this is very uncomfortable for me. What do I do with my hands type of deal?
Yeah, and now he's on TV. He's not just on the radio, he's on TV. You guys, Rod Ryan, 94.5, iHeartRadio, The Buzz. We're loving him here in Houston. He's a big follow. Make sure and check him out. Thank you, Rod.
You're awesome at this. Jeez.
Welcome to this totally custom industrial looking home. This one is about 3,400 square feet, 4-bedroom home. This one is built out of concrete and steel, located right here in Braes Heights, minutes from the medical center, 4 feet up, so no worrying about flooding. You guys gotta check this out. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. You got to meet Rod Ryan, or see Rod Ryan. Got to kind of see what we do at our community events with Throwback Thursday. Got to see one of our luxury listings, which is absolutely amazing. Now stay tuned to see some of our other listings and make sure and tune into the next episode of the American Dream TV show.